Hey guys, it's Jonathan from ProductivitySpartan.com, and today I want to teach you how to memorize any person's name quickly and easily. And I know that one of the biggest memory problems that people have is remembering people's names. And it's so important to be able to recall people's names because when you run into somebody a second time and you have to ask them, I'm sorry, what's your name again? It kind of makes them feel like they're not important, like they weren't special enough for you to memorize their name. So a really good way to build connections with people in business and in your personal life that can make a huge difference is your ability to memorize people's names. Okay, let's dive into it. How do you memorize somebody's name? Now, the way that you can memorize any name, no matter how difficult that it is that you need to make their name meaningful in a way that you'll remember it. So you need to come up with a substitute word for their name that you can visualize, and then you need to associate that to the person's face. That way, when you see the person, you will automatically remember what their name is. So let's say that somebody's last name is Stein. And I don't know if you know, but a Stein is actually another name for a beer mug. And if you can if you can take their name and actually turn it into something that's easy to remember, like a visual image that you can remember, then you'll take a somewhat difficult name and be able to remember it. So let's say that somebody's last name is Stein, and you want to memorize their name. So now that you have a substitute word for your name after you shake their hand and you meet them and they say their name, you need to associate it to their face in a funny and silly way. Now, it's very important when you associate the mental picture of their name, the substitute word picture to their name, it's very important to associate that to an outstanding kind of facial feature. You need to associate it to their face somehow. So let's say that the person that you meet named Stein, whose last name is Stein, let's say that this person has prominent eyebrows. Now, you need to associate their name to an outstanding feature of their face, so you need to visualize it, and you can visualize that the person with the last name Stein, if they have prominent eyebrows, visualize both of their eyebrows being big beer Stein mugs. And it sounds silly, it sounds ridiculous, but that is exactly why you'll remember their name, and you won't forget because you'll have created this silly, outstanding image regarding their face. Now, let's say that the person's last name is Pablo. Well, what is a substitute word for Pablo? Just get creative and think of some words or one word that sounds similar to the last name Pablo. Well, it kind of sounds like pop low. So maybe you could visualize your father like laying down or something like that, like laying down in bed, and your pop is low. So that will remind you of Pablo. So let's say that this person has a long chin. Now, when you meet this person, they say that their last name is Pablo. You can visualize your father laying down low, like sleeping or something, on the bottom of that person's chin, and you will always remember that person's name. And again, it sounds silly, it sounds ridiculous, but it simply works. You'll be able to remember any name. You can use their first name, or you can use their last name, or you can do both. So let's say that the person's last name is, or let's say the person's first name is George. So what does the first name George sound like? It kind of sounds like, let me think. it kind of sounds like chore a little bit. I'm sure you can come up with a better substitute name than I can. But let's say that George reminds you of chore. And let's say that this person that you meet named George has like prominent cheekbones, like his cheekbones kind of stand out. You could visualize both of those cheekbones being brooms on his face, and you're grabbing one of the brooms and you're sweeping to do a chore. And, just get creative with it. It's going to be difficult to begin with, and you might have a hard time coming up with substitute words for their name, but the more that you do it, the easier that it's going to get, because, maybe you haven't exercised your imagination in a long time, and by doing this exercise, it just gets easier and easier and easier, and you're going to be able to, in no time, be able to automatically come up with somebody's name as you exercise your imagination and you get better at this process. So I hope this technique helps you guys to memorize names much better, and it's going to make it so much easier. Use this in business, use this when you meet people at church, use this when whenever you meet a stranger, and you will memorize that person's name. And when you meet the person a second time, that silly visual image is going to come up again, and you're going to be able to memorize their name and be able to recall it. So give this a shot and let me know the results that you guys get from this process and how much better it improves your memory, which it definitely will. And comment below, and I will talk to you in the next video.